Safe to say that this is pretty much done now. We're going to move on to this little engine here. This is so random, but I've literally just realised that like the ports for the valves, like these cutouts for the valves, are heart-shaped. And I know that was a bit of a diversion. Okay then guys, so after many days of rain here in the UK, we finally have a beautiful sunny day. And I'm going to take full advantage of that and finish up these Advan faces. Now I've spent the last couple of days painting all the red details, but the backs have not been lacquered, and originally I wasn't going to do them, but I've got plenty of lacquer left, so I thought I'd seal the whole face and do the rears. So I'll do that in a second. But once they are done, it's going to be a good few weeks before I receive the lips. So in that time, I'm going to carry out a little bit of upcycling, which I did mention in the previous video, and try and turn a Morris A-series engine into a table lamp. So I'm going to collect all the bits and pieces together, send those for vapor blast, and get all the parts as clean as possible, ready for me to either paint or even polish some of the parts. So let me show you these wheels and see how they look and see what you guys think with the red details. So here they are, a little bit dusty and plenty of fingerprints all over it, so they could do with a good polish. But what do you guys think? The colour match compared to the original is almost perfect. I'm very, very happy with that. But yeah, the finish overall, considering we had rattle canned these and then hand painted the enamel for the red detail, I'm extremely happy. And I think with the polished lip and the chrome fixings, which are on order, I think these will look fantastic. So when painting the enamel, I don't know if you can quite pick it up, but you can quite clearly see these bits here are like dished. So what was happening, even though the enamel was quite thick, is when I was painting this, as it was drying, it was slowly running because of the weight of the paint and sitting in this middle part here. So what I had to do was actually tilt this forward slightly to make sure that this was relatively like flat for the paint not to run. But once I worked that out, it went on lovely. Yeah, the first one took me 4 hours, but once I'd done one, the other 3 came along nicely. But yeah, really, really happy with that. And I think with the chrome fixings, which are on order, and the polished lips, I think these will look incredible. So I'd love to know what you guys think. But as I mentioned, I want to lacquer the rears. Looking a little dull. So I'll give that a couple of coats of lacquer just to seal that in. And then we're going to move on to this little engine here. So I'm going to get all the bits together as mentioned and clean all this rust off with a vapor blaster. And I think what I might do is paint the block and then maybe polish up the lifters. Not quite sure just yet. But yeah, a couple of parts have been ordered as well. So I've got a new chrome cap and all the electrical bits and pieces to turn this into a lamp. So, as I said, get all the bits together and this can be sent off to get nice and clean. This is so random, but I've literally just realised that like the ports for the valves, like these cutouts for the valves, are heart-shaped. I've literally never seen that before. Thought that was quite random. It's not absolutely perfect, but I have managed to hammer out those little dents which were there. So yeah, I'll see what the result is once it's been vapor blasted, and I'll try and square it up as best I can. But otherwise, I'm very happy with that. So this can now go with the cylinder head ready to be vapor blasted. Okay guys, so we've had a couple of bits arrive, so let me show you what we've got. So here we have the electrical kit that we require. This was about 24 quid off eBay, and I have ordered this before. You can choose what colour wire you require, the rocker switch, and also the bulb holder. So I've gone for chrome, and this is to match the new oil cap which I've purchased from Tudor. I thought this would look much nicer than the original plastic cap that came with the head. And I'm actually going to drill through this to secure the bulb holder. That's what I did previously. It's about a 10mm hole, and we secure it like that. And that is why I've gone for the chrome. So yeah, that'll look smart. And to go with that, we've got ourselves a vintage but modern LED bulb. So these are much more efficient in LED, but this has like a tinted yellow glass, which looks fantastic. I've used these before and they really do look good, and only a few quid from, I think, Toolstation. So that's everything that we need to make a lamp from this A-series head. Okay, so it's been a little under a week and a lot has happened with this little A-series engine. So let me show you what I've done. So, as mentioned, I was going to have these vapor blasted, which I have had done. And the condition overall, I'm very happy with. So I'm possibly thinking of painting the head silver, just keep it nice and clean. And with how nice these look, I'm tempted to kind of paint the springs a colour. I've got plenty of aerosols left in all sorts of different colours. So yeah, thinking of doing that because this has also been vapor blasted. Very happy also with the condition. Yeah, I'm thinking of having this floating so you can see all the internals. So I thought it'd be nice to maybe paint these and polish some bits up just to yeah, make it look that little bit more interesting. But yeah, had all this off. These are all loose. Trying out some brass fixings. Make it look a bit more vintage, I suppose. Just make it a bit more interesting. This has come out nice as well. This will be in the green. I've ordered some NATO green, which is what the rocker cover will be. And I think also I'll do this thermostat housing also. Got myself a beautiful looking funnel. And I made a little D here because it was missing, where you just hang it up. Made it out of some welding wire. But yeah, a little bit of Scotch-Brite. And this has come out lovely. And this is going to be a lampshade. And I've done this before, and I just love the look. Very random, but automotive based. And that's kind of where I'm going with this project. So yeah, carried out a little bit of work. I've extended these studs here. And the idea is, as mentioned, is to have this floating. So I'm just going to have a little play about, see what bits and pieces I have around the unit, and see what I can do to have that sitting proud so we can have a look at all of these internals. So yeah, let me have a look at what I can get, and I'll catch up with you in a second. So it's not very conventional, but found a little bit of copper pipe. I've cut it down to the length I think I need, and drilled out some big washers, some repair washers I had. And the idea is, hopefully, is to balance this on there, like so. And then with these fixings, they can go through the hole, because I've oversized the holes in the repair washers for these, because these are more like nuts. So that should secure down, leaving this proud. So as I said, you can see all the valves and the rocker arms, which I really like. So yeah, I'll see if I can get these in to secure. And if this works, I think this is the idea I'll go for. So yeah, that has worked. Nice and rigid. And I'm actually really happy with the gap. It's about 1.5 inches, but I think that's enough for you to get the idea of the valve springs and stuff. But I kind of like the fact that this engine looks sort of almost exploded. So yeah, I'm actually happy with that, and that is rigid, and it seems to work, and you're not going to see all the fixings and stuff underneath. And I am just trying to use bits and pieces that are around the unit. But so far, very happy with the progress. Right, so after a good few hours, I think I've managed to make myself a support for this funnel. Trying to get all the bends correct and the length overall for it to sit above the lamp, because the bulb is really quite high. But I've tested it and I am happy. I'll show you in a second. I'll fit it. I've drilled a hole here, and the idea is that I bolt that like that, and I'll show you once I fix the funnel to it and the bulb how it looks. You kind of get an idea of where I'm going with it. But you'll be able to see that it's almost got like a gold finish. Now, a friend of mine, Chris, he sent me a video from a guy on YouTube about DIY plating ideas. And what he does is he heats up the metal, whether it's this bar or he was doing fixings like nuts and bolts. But he used a blowtorch, got the metal hot, and then used a brass wire brush, and it melted the brass into the metal because of the heat, and it gives this amazing finish. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I'm really happy with the result. So yeah, really quirky. So for those of you that don't know, this is just one half of what's called a Munson ring, and they secure pipes. So yeah, I've used this, and luckily it was a 10mm threaded hole, and that's what I've used, and it's an old vintage like brass. So that's what I'm using. I've drilled 2 holes here. I'm going to secure that in with a couple of little nuts and bolts. Started polishing the rockers. You can see I've done these 2. A little bit shinier than the ones which were vapor blasted. And all I'm using at the moment is just my little drill with a brass rotating bristle brush, and seems to be coming out really well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I do have a handheld stainless one also. But yeah, I'm really happy with the finish of that, and I think once it's all done, it'll look really nice. And I have started to use the brush on these just to get them a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to have to mask these up. I find it difficult to remove these because I don't have the tool to compress the spring to remove the collets. So I'll just mask up as best I can, and I'll paint the springs, let them dry, mask them up, and then I will spray paint this head in the silver. So that's the plan. So that's that all secured. I used some brass fixings. You don't have to, you could use stainless or just normal steel, but I had some brass nuts and washers to keep the theme. But that is pretty much done. And hopefully, if I've measured it correctly, once this is secured, like so, this then should miss the bulb. Once that's secured like that, it doesn't foul the top, and I was having issues with it fouling the back. But as you can see, there's plenty of room. So after a couple of attempts, I'm happy with that. So simple, but it did take me a couple of attempts to get all the curves right and all the lengths and stuff, but I'm happy with that, and I think it would look good. Now, with regards to this, you can see that there are 2 holes here, and what I've done is I've drilled them, and it is to secure with rivets this little plaque, this little BMC plaque which I've purchased. That stands for British Motor Company. You could have had Morris or Wolseley because these engines were used in multiple cars, but I've gone for BMC, which covers it all. But yeah, I've drilled those just so once it's painted in the NATO green, I won't have risk of scratching the paint. So yeah, that's what that is for. Also with that, I was looking at this this housing. Now I've decided, as you guys know, to have this floating so you can see the internals. And with how clean the thermostat has come out, I'm now wondering if I should find some spacers and have this floating also so you can see the thermostat. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if it looks better once it's in the green like that, or have this exploded as well so you can sort of almost see the engine apart with what we've got. I'm not quite sure what to use for spacers. I'll have a look and see what I've got. I think I've got some pipe up on the wall. Just there. I think I've got some aluminium pipe which might work. And yeah, and just have that floating also. And if I don't like it, I suppose I can just take the pipe off and secure it. So yeah, that's another possibility. But let's get these into the green. And there you go. Very, very happy with the finish. Got the thermostat housing. And also this, I think this is called a hot pipe or takeoff pipe. But I have actually bought a anodized blanking plug. And I think I am just going to blank this off. But with this done, I can now rivet on this BMC badge, which I'll do now. And there we have it. Easy as that. So that's a nice little detail. So with that all done, I'm going to put that to one side, and I'm going to now concentrate on painting all these details and this block here. So it has been a day or two since I've been here at the unit, but a lot has happened. So let me show you where I'm at. Regards of the head, we are now all painted. I've inserted the spark plugs and I've painted the springs. Now I was going to go for more of a leery colour, but in the end I just went for a champagne gold, which I had on the shelf from a previous project. So I went a bit safe because everything is looking a bit vintage, and I didn't want sort of bright red or possibly yellow springs, even though it may have looked pretty cool. But yes, I've gone for the safer bet and I'm really happy with the outcome. I finished cleaning up the rockers so they can now be installed and secured. And as mentioned, the possibility of having the thermostat housing sitting proud so you can see the thermostat, I've made these spacers, and I've used the same technique as previous where you heat it up and then use a brass wire brush to give a finish. Really happy with that, and I have two sizes. But yeah, unsure if I'm going to do it or not, because I don't know if it actually looks nice now it's all painted in silver. I don't know if it looks nice just like that. But as mentioned, we could have it sitting proud. But we have the option, so they are there and they're done. So yeah, all that needs to happen now is the reassembly of this. I'm still yet to wire in the bulb holder. Just to give you guys an idea, just lightly mocked it up. Obviously minus the lampshade because I haven't secured the rocker cover down. Now with regards to that, I was never really happy with the condition of the rocker cover fixings. And I realised I'm actually missing some rubbers. These aren't supposed to be metal on metal. There's a rubber grommet that sits in there. And then I come across some that are polished and have like a T-bar, which I really like the look of, and I thought they were relatively cheap. So I've actually purchased them, and I think they'll look fantastic on here, and they should be here tomorrow. So I can get that secured, but as I said, before I can do that, I need to wire in this bulb holder, and then try and work out where I can sneak the wire to hide it, and then come out so we can then plug it in. So I'll have a little play and see what I can do with regards of that. And then we can at least test it and make sure that everything works. So a few bits and pieces have been done. You can probably see here that the valve springs are now in a gold. The champagne gold was too close to the silver and didn't really stand out, and I found some gold. So I have painted them, and they do look fantastic once the rocker cover is on. The thermostat housing is on. I have decided to use the spacers, and I quite like the look of that so far, but as I said, if I don't like the look of these, I can remove them and have that flush on the block. The blanking plate, which I mentioned I purchased, is turned up. Not quite sure if I still want to run this or I'll revert back to the takeoff pipe. I'm not quite sure. But once again, a 2-second removal and an easy install, so I have the choice. I have fitted the funnel to the rocker cover. I'm very happy with that. You can see how close it is to the bulb, but it's perfect. And it does look absolutely fantastic once it's on here. And as I mentioned, with the gold coming through, it really is coming together. And to secure that are these fixings which have arrived. And as I mentioned, they're like a T-bar design. You see they have the rubber grommet there, which is designed to fit into that recess perfectly. And I think that's a really nice design. And these weren't that expensive. So I have those to fit also. But yeah, let me get all this wired in and plumbed in, and then we can start bolting this together, and we will have ourselves a completed table lamp. So starting off with the bulb holder, just fed the wire through the bottom of the cap, and I exposed the 3 wires. So you've got earth, neutral, and live. And it's very, very simple. So this is the unit that comes out of the holder itself, which sits in here. And this is for the live and neutral. It doesn't matter which one. It just goes up through these holes here, and you just pinch it with these little screws, easy enough. And then it's earthed via the body, and you can see this little bit here. So what we need to do, it is quite a tight fit, but we just need to grab the earth and pinch it through the inside of that and nip it up with the bolt. And then all of this will hopefully fit in there nice and snug, and we secure it together with that. And at least that is that bit done, and then I can work out what length I want the wire once I've actually fed it through the head, which is drying because I've decided to paint the underside. Even though you won't see it, I want the whole thing coated, which looks nice. But yeah, once we've worked out which hole it comes through, which I think was this one here, we can fit the little rocker switch and the plug. Okay, so I'm holding it in place, but I've managed to push that unit down. But as you can see, just about, you see the wire there's been pinched for the earth and also for the live and the neutral. So hopefully now I should be able to screw that piece on and it will hold it all together. Okay then guys, so I've been thinking of ways of making feet for this so it can sit slightly proud, just so when I install the wire, it's got enough space underneath and it's not crushing the wire. And what I've come up with is this. So it's just a countersunk bolt with a washer. Now what I need to do is pack these with a little bit of electrical tape, just because this thread, this is an M12, is slightly smaller than the holes at the bottom and they're not threaded. So yeah, just so they're easily removable if needs be, I'm just putting some electrical tape around here to pack it out and then pushing them in, and it seems to be working. So this is the last one, so let me show you what I'm doing. So there is the first 3, and without having to tug on them, they are not going to come out. So yeah, just using electrical tape, wrapping it around the thread just to pack it out, and then all you need to do is just lightly push it in, and it grips it enough where they're not going to fall out when I try and turn it, to sit it on whatever surface it's going to be sitting on. So yeah, let me wrap this one up, get this in, and at least that's done. Just a couple of layers, nothing too extreme, and then that should just push in like that. Absolutely perfect, and that is going to work. So yeah, I've got some foam, some sticky back foam. I'm going to cut some and just put it on the bottom here, just to protect whatever surface this is going to sit on, that it doesn't scratch it. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. And you can see here that the wire has got more than enough room, so it's not going to get crushed. So now we can feed this through the top, out the bottom, cut where we need to, and then we can fit the rocker switch, which is here. So I'm going to feed it through this one here. And then if I can tilt this back, hopefully get it through. That's quite weighty doing it one-handed, but we've got it through, guys. So I'll feed the rest of the cable through, work out roughly where I'd like the rocker switch, cut in, splice it in, and then it's just a matter of putting the plug on the end. Okay, so I've had to install the rocker cover just so I can get all of what I need of the wire, because obviously it's attached to the bulb holder, and that is relatively taut. I've left a little bit of slack just underneath here. But now that is in, I'm going to probably measure around about 300 mil, give or take, and then cut the wire, and then we can install the rocker switch. Here you go, guys, all done. Just got to put the lid on, wire the plug in, and then we can test it, and fingers crossed it all works. Okay, plug attached. Let's see if we have ourselves a working lamp. Yes, fantastic. Okay, wow. Safe to say that this is pretty much done now. So let me show you what we have produced. Here we are then, guys, all done and complete, and I'm over the moon with how this has come out. What a transformation from where we started, just with this stored for probably 20 plus years, this A series head, to now a working, functional, quite funky looking table lamp. I've added these. This is just a little detail that I wanted to do, like a link set. It's just some copper wire that I had left over and some crimps. And they're easily removable, as you can see. But I just thought it gives a really nice extra detail at the front. I do love the look of the copper. See the valve springs all popping through, and I love the gold against the green, I really do. And it looks fantastic. And I like the fact that we've got this hovering, so you can just about see the thermostat in there also. And with these fixings that I purchased here, that was definitely the right thing to do. Really adds to the character of the lamp. And safe to say this one's going to be a keeper. Really does look beautiful, and this is my kind of thing. I love making bits and pieces, upcycling, recycling, and just making random automotive furniture. And my house is actually full of it. So yeah, highly recommend you guys having a go. All of these bits and pieces were just lying around my unit, or that I managed to find on the internet. So yeah, definitely worth giving it a go yourself. And these are the results that you can get out of some old engine parts which are laying in your garage. So there you are then, guys, we are all done. And I know that was a bit of a diversion from the things that I normally do on this channel, but behind the scenes, this is the kind of stuff that I love to do. My house is just full of automotive randomness with bits that I've done over the years. And this is a real passion of mine, building bits and pieces like this, upcycling, recycling bits which were just stuffed in a corner of a garage for many, many years. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out, and I massively appreciate it. But with that, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.